What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Canadian Football Fantasy Fix for Week 10 of the 2021 CFL season. I'm Ryan Coop here with your quarterback preview to kick things off this week, touching on all things CFL Fantasy to help you get set for setting your lineups. Crazy that we're in Week 10 already. The season has just absolutely flown by, and I can't believe we are already well into the second half of it. Quick note on CFL Fantasy for this week. The Toronto Argonauts and Ottawa Red Blacks play 2 games each. The first one comes Wednesday night, so you'll need to make sure to set your lineup. And the points for both teams will count for both games they play. So you total them up between the 2 games, and their salaries are inflated accordingly to make it a little more difficult to just fit them all in your lineup, because you have to think two games versus one, a lot of people are going to be loading up from both teams. But there's some interesting plays involved here, so we'll touch on those as we go through them. And let's take a look at the list of quarterbacks for this week. The most expensive one on the charts is McLeod Bethel Thompson of the Toronto Argonauts, $14,000. The reason he is the most expensive is because he does play 2 games. What you're looking for if you want full value out of him, and I value that at 2.5 points per $1,000, because that helps you get a 100-point week, is you're looking for 35 points out of McLeod Bethel Thompson. He is getting the start on Wednesday against Ottawa. I put him as a yellow light this week. I mean, 35 points in 2 games for Bethel Thompson, it isn't too big of a hill to climb. I mean, 17.5 a game. He's averaging 14.6. We know he's capable of being a premium passer in the CFL when he's on his game. The reason I'm cautious on Bethel Thompson this week is because we have those 2 games in 4 days, and let's say he puts up a bit of a disappointing game against Ottawa, and he was a little banged up in practice this week, but he is ready to go. Well, Nick Arbuckle has been injured the past week or so. Let's say Arbuckle's ready for that second game and Bethel Thompson struggles in the first one. I'm not sold on that he gets both starts this week. I think we could see Arbuckle potentially come in the second game of the week, and that's $14,000 of salary spent on Bethel Thompson. So if he does play both games, I think he should be able to hit full value at 35 points for you. I don't think that should be a problem. He's facing Ottawa. They give up 22.2 points a game against quarterbacks. Hamilton's given up 16.7. So there's the potential for, in both of those matchups, I think is reasonable. But the salary is high. I'm not 100% sold on him getting the start in both games at this point, and you got to lock him in early in order to and bank on him starting both. So I'm cautious on McLeod Bethel Thompson. Next up on the charts, Vernon Adams Jr., the Alouettes, $12,948. I'm staying away from him this week. Yes, the matchup with Ottawa is juicy. I know 22.2 points is what quarterbacks are putting up against them. The salary is just so high with Vernon Adams. 32.4 points, really tough for a quarterback to hit in a single game on the week. He's averaging 19. There seems to be that up and down disconnect here and there for Vernon Adams and his receivers this year. I think he could have a good day and put you up in the 20-point range, but I don't think he's giving you full value, and I like the other options at quarterback better. I've got Cody Fajardo at $11,231 in the yellow light category. He's averaging 17.5 on the year. You're looking for 28.1. I'm expecting a bounce back day for Fajardo facing the same matchup as the week before. It was a down day for him and that Riders offense. Bit of a surprising upset by the Stampeders over them, and I expect them to be much better at home this week. And Calgary's defense has shown that they're a team that you can put up some points, you can put up some yardage against. I expect a bounce back day. I put him in the cautious category because, again, 28 points is also decently a high price to a high point total to try to reach for a quarterback on a week. But I think Fajardo is capable. We've seen many weeks of him of at least 20 points, and he should be able to get you at least close to that 28-point range if he has a bounce back week this week. Looking at the Edmonton side of things, Trevor Harris gets back into the lineup after missing the past 2 games. He'll start this week against Winnipeg, $10,927. I'm staying away from him solely for the matchup with the Bombers. They give up just 11.2 points to quarterbacks. I want to see how Harris performs coming back from injury. And, the theme all season long for Edmonton has been they can put up the yardage, but they're not putting up the touchdowns quite often offensively. And if he's not putting those up, you're not getting the value you were looking for out of Trevor Harris. The Bombers force a lot of turnovers as well. I think this is a matchup to stay away from until proven otherwise. Also saying stay away from Jeremiah Mazzoli, $8,832. Looking for 22.1 points from him. In 3 starts, he's averaging just 10.1. The matchup with Toronto is a little bit favorable. They give up 18.4 on average to quarterbacks, and you need 22.1. But Mazzoli just has not seemed to be running as efficiently and passing as efficiently as we've seen him do in previous seasons. So I need to see him really put a good game under his belt this season before I consider putting him in my fantasy lineup as my QB. Zach Collaros of the Bombers, I say yellow light, $8,621. Looking for 21.6 points. He's got a 16.5 point average on the year. Last week he exploded for $4,000, or not $4,000, sorry, or even 4,000 yards, 400 yards. Wow, numbers are hard. 400 yards plus in that game against BC. I could see him maybe being, putting up a total, but similar, but he will be without Kenny Lawler, who the team has suspended for this Friday's game due to him getting arrested for driving under the influence, which, by the way, is not an acceptable action. I'm happy the team has, addressed it. I'm happy he has been out early, up front with the team about what's going on, and I hope he gets the help that he needs with the alcohol addiction. And just don't drink and drive is my advice to anybody. And my plea to everybody. He will be without Kenny Lawler. We will probably get to see Naaman Roosevelt in the Bombers uniform, which is exciting, though, and we could see some connection there with Collaros. So I do generally like him as a decent option this week. The only reason I'm always cautious on Collaros is that 400-yard game. Besides that, he hadn't put 300 yards up once yet on the season, and there is always the potential that, they get near the goal line and then Sean McGuire's taking it in. I don't think we're going to see any Zach Collaros rushing touchdowns to help your totals necessarily. So I am a little bit cautious of going Collaros' direction, but I think he will be a pretty solid pick this week. Bo Levi Mitchell, I'm saying stay away from, 8,157. Yes, he had a decent day, put up around 13 points last week against Saskatchewan, but I'm expecting a bounce-back game for the Riders. In 5 starts this year, Bo's averaging just 9.6 points, and you need 20.4. So he does not seem to be able to put up the barn burner of a game we've seen from him in the past at this current time, which means I say don't put him in your CFL Fantasy lineup. The option I really like at quarterback this week is Caleb Evans of the Ottawa Red Blacks, $7,500. He had the top score of the week at quarterback last week with 25.5 points. And then he plays 2 games this week, and $7,500 is a very low salary for that. You need just 18.8 points in 2 games from Evans. If he starts both games, which I think he should because they have something good going with him, you do need just like 9.4 points out of Evans between the 2 games or in each game this week, which is very doable. I mean, that you're looking at 200-yard passing game, 225-yard passing game should give you 9 points on the week. You throw in a couple carries, throw in touchdown maybe in there. Should have no problem. He's got some decent matchups with Toronto at 18.4 and Montreal at 17.8 points against average from quarterbacks. I really like Caleb Evans this week. Do I think he's going to go off for 25 points in each game? No, but I think we could see him put at least the 10 to 15 point range up. in either game, which should give you well worth the value you are looking for. So to me, he is the clear go-to option at quarterback this week. But I do think, as I mentioned, there are some other options in Caleros, Bethel Thompson, and Fajardo as well that could be interesting plays at quarterback. So that does it for the quarterback preview this week. Stay tuned. I'll have running backs, wide receivers, and defense out later on Tuesday as well, and a depth chart update for that Toronto-Ottawa game on Wednesday. Do all the YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you liked, what you didn't. If you have any fantasy questions, put them in the comments section or tweet them at me at CooperTrooper42. It starts with a K. The link to it is in the video description. And if you want to play CFL Fantasy alongside myself and other viewers, you can check out the link in the description to the Canadian Football Fantasy Fix group over on the official CFL Fantasy site. Play alongside myself and other viewers this week and every week throughout the 2021 CFL season. As always, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.